Now, let's start by clearing up one important truth. Your size doesn't suddenly shrink overnight. Instead, the process is gradual, almost like the way our hair grays or our skin develops wrinkles over the years. Just as aging changes the outside of the body, it also affects what's going on inside. One of the main factors behind this is blood flow. Healthy circulation is what allows your manhood to reach its full size and maintain it. In younger years, your blood vessels are flexible, wide, and smooth, which means blood rushes in easily. But as we age, our vessels can stiffen and narrow due to a natural buildup of fatty deposits and changes in the lining of those vessels. Doctors call this atherosclerosis. You don't have to remember the word, but you've probably heard of it in relation to heart health. What happens in the heart and arteries can also happen in the vessels that supply the penis. This reduced blood flow means your erections may not be as firm as they once were, and the maximum stretch or size can appear smaller. It's not always a loss of actual tissue, but rather less pressure filling the chambers fully. Think of it like a balloon. If you don't fill it with enough air, it just doesn't expand all the way. Another piece of the puzzle is muscle and tissue structure. Inside the penis are spongy chambers called the corpora cavernosa. When you're young, these tissues are springy and elastic, holding blood like a strong sponge. Over time, some of that elasticity fades. The smooth muscle cells can be replaced by more rigid fibers, a process doctors sometimes refer to as fibrosis. What that means in simple terms is that the sponge becomes stiffer and less absorbent. So even if blood is flowing in, the capacity to expand isn't as strong as before. There's also something important that happens on the outside, the fat pad at the base of the penis. As men age, many naturally gain a bit of extra weight around the lower belly. This fat can actually creep forward, covering the base of the penis and making it appear shorter. Notice I said appear. In reality, the length hasn't changed, but what's visible looks less. Many men don't realize this and worry unnecessarily. Now, here's a number you'll want to remember. Studies suggest that from middle age into the later years, men may notice up to a 1-inch reduction in visible length. For some, it's less noticeable, for others more. But the point is, it's gradual and not a sudden loss. And finally, we can't ignore the role of nerve sensitivity. As men get older, the nerve endings that once fired off quickly may become less sensitive. This doesn't shrink the penis, but it changes how responsive it feels. And when the brain isn't getting the same strong signals, arousal and firmness can be harder to achieve, which again contributes to the perception of smaller size. Now, I want you to stick with me, because in the next part, we're going deeper into the role of hormones and lifestyle, things like testosterone, stress, smoking, and alcohol. These are not just background factors. They're actually some of the biggest players when it comes to how your size and performance change as the years roll on. If blood flow and tissue are the visible part of the puzzle, then hormones are the hidden fuel behind the scenes. The main player here is testosterone. You've heard the word before. It's the hormone that drives male development, muscle strength, energy, and yes, sexual function. Testosterone peaks in the late teens and early 20s, and after about the age of 30, it starts to decline gradually, around 1% every year. This slow drop may not seem like much at first, but over the years, it builds up. Lower testosterone means reduced sexual desire, weaker erections, and less frequent nighttime or morning erections, which are actually vital in keeping penile tissue healthy. Without those regular stretches, the spongy chambers inside the penis aren't exercised as much, leading to reduced elasticity and a subtle loss of length or girth. But hormones are only one side of the story. Lifestyle choices often speed up the natural aging process. Take smoking, for example. Cigarettes damage blood vessels, narrowing them and reducing circulation. The same goes for heavy alcohol use. It can numb nerve sensitivity, disturb hormones, and even cause long-term erectile difficulties. Many men don't connect the dots between their habits and their sexual health until they start noticing changes. Diet and weight also play a huge role.
Carrying excess belly fat doesn't just make the penis look smaller by hiding part of its base, it also raises estrogen levels in men. Yes, men have estrogen too, but too much of it disrupts testosterone balance. That's why obesity is often linked to lower testosterone and performance issues. Then there's stress. Chronic stress raises cortisol, a hormone that competes with testosterone. High cortisol over long periods doesn't just make you feel tired and anxious, it actively lowers sex drive and affects size indirectly by weakening erection quality. Pair that with poor sleep, which is when testosterone is mainly produced, and you've got a double hit to hormonal health. Now, here's a factor many overlook: medications. Certain drugs prescribed for blood pressure, depression, or prostate issues can have side effects that affect erections. While these drugs are important for overall health, men are often surprised to learn they may influence size or function by interfering with blood flow or nerve signaling. Another hidden cause is Peyronie's disease, a condition where scar tissue builds up inside the penis, leading to curvature and sometimes a noticeable reduction in length. It's not extremely common, but it tends to show up more in middle-aged and older men. Let's not forget about physical activity. Men who stay active, especially with cardiovascular exercise, often maintain healthier blood flow, stronger erections, and less visible shrinkage compared to those who live sedentary lifestyles. Exercise helps keep vessels open, hormones balanced, and body fat under control, all factors that directly or indirectly preserve size. Here's a point worth highlighting. Many of these changes aren't permanent or inevitable. A man who smokes, drinks heavily, sleeps poorly, and carries a lot of belly fat will often notice changes much earlier than someone who takes care of himself. That's why some men in their 60s report very little difference in size or performance, while others start noticing it in their 40s. To put it simply, the way you live can either speed up or slow down the natural process. Hormones and lifestyle are deeply connected, and both determine how noticeable the changes in penis size and function will be over time. Now stay with me, because in the next section, we're going to tackle the most important part: what you can actually do about it. If Section 1 was about the mechanics, and Section 2 was about the hidden drivers, then Section 3 is all about solutions. Simple, science-backed steps that any man can take to protect his size and function as the years go by.
Now that you understand why changes in penis size and function happen with age, the question becomes, what can you actually do about it? The good news is that while aging is unavoidable, the degree of shrinkage or decline is not set in stone. With the right approach, many of these changes can be slowed, reduced, or even partly reversed. The first and most powerful tool is exercise. You don't need to train like an athlete, but regular cardiovascular activity like brisk walking, swimming, or cycling keeps blood vessels open and healthy. Remember, erections are all about circulation. By protecting your heart and arteries, you're also protecting your penis. Strength training adds another layer of benefit, since it helps maintain testosterone levels, muscle mass, and overall energy. Next is diet. A nutrient-rich diet doesn't just keep your body fit, it directly impacts hormone balance and vascular health. Foods rich in antioxidants, like fruits and vegetables, improve circulation. Lean proteins and healthy fats, such as salmon, nuts, and olive oil, support testosterone production. On the flip side, processed foods, excess sugar, and trans fats promote obesity and inflammation, both of which speed up the shrinking process. Think of your plate as fuel for your sexual health. Weight management plays a key role. As mentioned earlier, belly fat hides part of the penile shaft, making it appear smaller. Shedding excess weight not only makes the penis look longer, but also restores hormone balance by lowering excess estrogen levels. Don't underestimate the power of good sleep. During deep sleep, your body produces most of its testosterone. Men who consistently get less than 6 hours of sleep a night often notice a drop in libido, weaker erections, and lower energy. Improving sleep quality through better routines, reduced screen time, or even addressing sleep apnea can have a dramatic effect on performance and size maintenance. Another overlooked area is stress management. Chronic stress raises cortisol, which suppresses testosterone and interferes with sexual function. Incorporating relaxation techniques like meditation, deep breathing, or even hobbies that bring you joy helps lower stress and protect hormone health. When it comes to habits, cutting out or reducing smoking and excessive alcohol use is non-negotiable. Smoking narrows arteries, and alcohol, when abused, damages nerves and lowers testosterone. Quitting or cutting back has almost immediate benefits for blood flow and erections. Now let's talk about something practical and often misunderstood: pelvic floor exercises, also called Kegels. Just like women use them for bladder control, men can strengthen their pelvic muscles to improve erection hardness and even help with size maintenance. A strong pelvic floor supports blood retention in the penis, keeping it fuller for longer. Medical support also plays a role. If you suspect low testosterone, a doctor can check your hormone levels. Treatments like testosterone replacement therapy aren't for everyone, but in the right cases, they can restore energy, mood, and sexual function. Similarly, if medications are interfering with erections, your doctor may adjust the prescription or suggest alternatives. For men with Peyronie's disease or significant shrinkage due to scarring, there are treatments available, ranging from oral medication to surgery in severe cases. The important thing is not to suffer in silence. Many men feel embarrassed, but doctors are used to these conversations and can offer real solutions. Finally, let's address perspective. While some degree of change is natural with age, size does not define masculinity or satisfaction. Studies show that confidence, emotional connection, and technique matter to a partner much more than size ever could. In fact, many men who focus on overall health and intimacy find that their sex lives improve with age, even if their measurements shift slightly. So here's the bottom line. Aging may bring changes, but you're not powerless. Through lifestyle choices, medical support, and self-care, you can maintain not only your penis health, but also your confidence and vitality. The earlier you start, the better, but it's never too late to make changes. Take care of your body, and your body, including your penis, will take care of you.